I fear now that thanks to Saeed Ibrahim and G. Vijayaraghavan and the Goethe Zentrum, we're going to have even more leaving from Thiruvananthapuram as a result of the very good facilities here for them to learn the language. It isn't an easy language, but we Keralites specialize in certain traits for which the only good word is German. Schadenfreude, for example. Schadenfreude is the tendency to take great pleasure in other people's misfortunes. That is a Keralite trait, but the Germans gave us the word for it. And Honorable Consul General of Germany, Achim Burkhardt, my dear G.V. Vijayaraghavan, was sitting in the audience, but is actually the chairman of the center, Saeed Ibrahim, who of course is the moving spirit behind German presence in Thiruvananthapuram. My friend V. Vernu, the Chief Secretary of the state, a new friend, the Chairman of Allianz, and of course, ma'am, distinguished guests, lovers of Germany, friends. I'm not planning to inflict a long speech on you, but the occasion is indeed very special. I have spent some time as your Member of Parliament trying to encourage a greater cosmopolitanism in our city, which ranges from everything from trying to get more multinational corporations to open offices in the Technopark to encouraging Mr. Yusuf Ali to set up the Lulu hypermarket and urging him to also allow more restaurants, more movie theaters, and so on to come into his complex. It's all part of the adventure of making our city even more attractive to people who are not Malayali, who are not from Thiruvananthapuram. And I believe that what Saeed Ibrahim has been doing is playing a very useful role in making Thiruvananthapuram a more cosmopolitan place through his advocacy of relations with Germany, the instructions of the German language, and the propagation of German culture through the Goethe Zentrum. And it's very welcome that our Chief Minister reminded us all that the connections of Kerala to Germany go back a very long way. In fact, even before Hermann Gundert, whom he was very right to mention, there was a remarkable pastor called Ernst Hangselen who came here in 1701 and who wrote a hymn in Malayalam to the life of Christ, which is still sung in many churches, the Puttanpana. And that is by a German, Ernst Hangselen. In the following century, 1806, you had William Ringeltaug, who also came ahead of Hermann Gundert. So we've had a lot of German presence and influence in Kerala. And of course, Hermann Gundert's epical contribution continues to this day. It's also important to recognize that Kerala has been a source of migration into Germany already. Not that people like me welcome that, because it means more of my voters going away from here. But having said that, the fact is that Keralites both have a sense of enterprise and a willingness to learn languages, which perhaps is not so easily found in other states in our country. And as a result, I've met, I think you have a particular category of senator for certain, senator for business or senator, something like that. There's a German senator of Malayali origin who has come and introduced himself to me with a card printed, a very official card with the crest of the Bundestag. Apparently there is such a role. So we actually have people who have not only thrived in business, but have also established a certain prominence in German society. Of course, increasingly, I'm told in the big cities in Germany, there are no hospitals without Malayali nurses. And it is true also that with 42,500 students in Germany, we now have the highest number of foreign students of any country in the world. And undoubtedly a disproportionate number of those are Malayalis. And I offer as evidence the fact that when we suddenly and abruptly had to evacuate Indian students from the Ukraine, which is of course quite remarkable because it was really done at very short notice when the war broke out. It turned out that of the 20,000 Indians who were repatriated, 2,000 were from Kerala. And that's 10% of the entire Indian student population are from Kerala. And that's from a state which is just 38 million in a country of 1.4 billion. So clearly, Keralites are disproportionate in their representation in the foreign student community. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have such a breakdown. I was frantically Googling, but I couldn't find it. We don't have such a breakdown, but my guess is it's almost certainly equally true for Kerala. And I fear now that thanks to Saeed Ibrahim and G. Vijayaraghavan and the Goethe Zentrum, we're going to have even more leaving from Thiruvananthapuram as a result of the very good facilities here for them to learn the language. It isn't an easy language, but we Keralites specialize in certain traits for which the only good word is German. Schadenfreude, for example. Schadenfreude is the tendency to take great pleasure in other people's misfortunes. That is a Keralite trait, but the Germans gave us the word for it. And I'm just being a bit mischievous because the TV cameras have gone, so it's safe to do this. And of course, we in Kerala have always had an enormous amount of interest and respect, I think, for the flowerings of European culture, music, art, cinema. If you come and annually to our International Film Festival of Kerala, you will see how knowledgeable our Trivandrum residents are about world cinema. And I'm sure that Wim Wenders and Fassbinder and so many others have very active fans in this capital city. So with those words, I just want to once again congratulate all those behind this venture. It is a splendid building. I was only worrying that if it rains, as it so often does, we won't be able to hear each other speak. But I'm very impressed with your sound system. Perhaps we can defeat the rain even. But it's a wonderful layout and it's a great setup. Congratulations again, Saeed Ibrahim, for what you've done. I really hope that in addition to inciting Malayalis to go to Germany, that you will also offer these wonderful facilities, as the Alliance Française does, to non-German cultural events, because it's a lovely space. And I think if I can speak for the writing community of Thiruvananthapuram, artists, writers, poets are constantly in need of good venues to attract remarkable audiences like this to present their work and discuss their work. And I was very grateful that the Alliance Française accepted my plea many years ago to allow Malayali writers and people connected to Thiruvananthapuram writing in English also to launch their books there. And you know what the French really think of the English language, and even then they agreed to that. So I'm hoping that you will do the same as well. That's a humble request. So let this place become a humming hub of cultural activity for the city, and add, apart from your German classes, add one more area of luster to our city's cultural life. The final thought is, of course, that I really hope, and I mentioned this to Achim Burkhardt already, that Germany will find a way to convert this eventually into a full-fledged consulate with visa-issuing facilities. Right now, all we have in Thiruvananthapuram is the VFS. Our friends from the UAE have got a full-fledged consulate here. Others are keen on expanding their presence for this purpose. And being the state capital, Thiruvananthapuram has much to offer you all. And of course, you have this outstanding representative in the city anyway. So you don't even need to pay the salary of a German to come and sit here. Saeed Ibrahim will do the job for you, and we will all benefit. Thank you all very much. Jai Hind.